Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday, September 25th. We are here back with the show after a very nice weekend in New York City. A lot of rain here in New York City. FriendTech TVL has reached an all-time high despite the Friday points airdrop. The total TVL, total value locked, is almost at $40 million. This past Friday, the airdrop was heavily unfavorable for people that self-bought their keys to farm points. It was much more favorable for what we're calling organic key buyers, and for the 3,3 buyers. So in other words, the people that I'll buy your key if you buy mine, and I suppose the agreement there is not to sell it. Nick, have people been buying your key?
Dude, it's one of the hottest tokens actually right now on FriendTech. If you're on FriendTech, if you're new to FriendTech, a lot of people say you got to buy the All Nick token. That's one of the first ones.
A lot of people say that, huh?
There's a lot of alpha that gets released in that channel. Things like GM, GN. These are some of the messages that happen. Hold on, because the pump's coming soon. That sort of conversation. It's just quality conversation in there. So you're really missing out if you haven't purchased it. Remember, that's all Nick. I don't know about this situation. Can I share a story? A ridiculous situation?
Absolutely.
So yesterday, I went. This weekend, I spent a significant amount on clothes.
Really?
My old rain boots were water always came through somehow, and I was like, I don't understand how. And I picked up my rain boots and looked underneath, and they were just like cracked. Like the soles were like completely cracked through. And I'm like, okay, they're like 7 years old. I got to get a new pair of shoes. So I got a pair of shoes. I got a raincoat because I didn't have like just a regular raincoat. I only had winter coats. So I went and got a raincoat. Those things are expensive, by the way. Like the Patagonia shell, like literally just the shell for the raincoat.
It's a windbreaker, and you're spending
$250 basically is what I got a discount, but it's still $250.
Why'd you get a discount?
REI had a discount. I don't know. So then yesterday, my girlfriend joined me to go further shopping, and was getting more clothes. And on the way back, we're taking the subway back because it's raining. Usually we would bike around, and we get on the subway, and we like select the cart or the car to get on, and like walk in the weird direction, whatever. I sit down on the chair. My girlfriend's about to sit down next to me, and I look over where my girlfriend's about to sit, and directly next to her is none other than the girl from $400 fame, who's literally seated in the chair right there.
Wait, who?
I'm not saying the name because that was something she was pissed off about. But the last person is literally seated in the chair. She doesn't notice that I'm seated directly next to her. So there's a 3-seat thing where at the entrance to where the door is.
I think the audience needs a little bit of context. So this was a former lover of yours, Nifty Nick, and there was an issue.
I don't like to talk about that, but okay.
There was an issue with the relationship because there was a sudden, abrupt, undiscussed.
She like texted me, undiscussed. She was like, "Hey, I'll be back in a bit." Text me on the way back. She's like, "Hey, on my way back, by the way, can I get $400?"
Mm-hmm.
And so,
the way she did it was, "Hey, can you pay for this course? Here's the link."
Yeah, send me the link to the invoice, basically. So I was just like, "Excuse me?" Like, it was just a weird way of presenting it. But what are the chances that I sit down? So I like stand up, and I'm like, I grab my girlfriend's hand. I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna go over there," and like just start walking. And I get to the end of the car, and I'm like, "You're not gonna believe this." But yeah, so that situation was pretty.
But you escaped.
Absurd.
It sounds like
I escaped. Like nothing went down there. But yeah, there was a lot more drama involved with that situation that I'm not going to get into on this show. But the bottom line is that like the chance of that happening to me feels pretty damn slim, that you would just sit on the seat next to that person. I don't know.
I actually was a good situation for you because you bump into your ex and then at least you're with someone who happens to be your girlfriend. That's a good situation to bump into your ex. You don't want to be bumping into your ex when you got holes in your rain boots, you don't have a rain jacket, and you just look like poo. You know, you could have seen her on Saturday when you're out like with your shopping bags, buying stuff, not looking very interesting. But on Sunday, you had it all together. So
she looked stressed out. Actually, she looked exhausted. I don't know. That was the situation there, and I'm just like trying to escape. I don't know. She may have been coming back from hanging out with a friend or whatever it was, but the bottom line is just escape that. I like your perspective, Signal, in terms of like, if there is a scenario in which you're running into an ex, you want to show that it's been a come up, like you want to demonstrate that life has only gotten better ever since that relationship ended. And there's never been a moment of doubt in your mind. Never a moment where you yearned for the love of the past. Those sorts of things never occur, because it's only been a straight line up from the day that ended, from the day that it ended. So that's the situation.
I feel like it's kind of been like that with you, Nick. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, September 25th. Today, we are going to discuss the Pudgy Penguins' Brave New World campaign, the Crapopolis Fox TV debut. This is the TV show by Dan Harmon that has an NFT collection associated with it. I feel like I have one of those NFTs, if I'm not mistaken. And last but not least, we will be joined by none other than incredibly talented superstar artist FEWOCiOUS to talk about his upcoming FEWOCiOUS mint that is happening later this week. So very exciting day, getting to talk to someone at the caliber of FEWOCiOUS. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Before we go any further, let's dive into this weather report. Signal, please take it away.
Yeah, sure, folks. Today, Monday, September the 25th. Market volume coming in at 8.4 million. Blur with the line share at 4 million. OpenSea, half of that at 2.5 million. Onto the movers and shakers. While D-Gods are down to about 3.3 ETH. Miladies are also down to 2.3 ETH. But someone that is not down is Pudgy Penguins. They are up to 4.6 ETH as they continue their Brave New World campaign. Other movers included names we haven't heard in a while. You got World of Women up 22% after multiple sweeps. Utes are back up to above 0.9 ETH after following the rebrand, and Sproto Gremlins up 17% back above 1 ETH. Over the past 24 hours, well, we talked a little bit about FriendTech, but despite the points airdrop on Friday, in fact, TVL has reached an all-time high, with the airdrop rewarding genuine buyers and giving very limited points for self-buyers of the keys. FriendTech's TVL is nearly at 40 million. Over on the PFP side, well, Jack Butcher's O'Pepin's unrevealed floor is now higher than the revealed sets, both near a 0.4 ETH price point. It's going to be making it less likely for flippers to opt into every new set created by the artist. On to another winner of the weekend. It's Nakamiga's Cloaks. They did a 2x over the weekend, with the floor reaching a high of 0.12 ETH before pulling back. The Nakamigos combined set is still higher than the pre-snapshot floor, turning this into a win for holders taking profits now. And then lastly, other side introduced odors, some interesting looking odors to the ecosystem, which are inhabitants of the other side. Maras are also evolved into a Codorama once they are fed a catalyst. The Legend of Mara game begins its highly anticipated open beta tomorrow, with vessels at 0.15 and coders sitting at 3.2 ETH. That is all for the weather report and the weekend news. It is back to you folks in the studio.
There you go, Signal. Fantastic weather report as usual. Some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. The Daily Digest is posted to X every morning. It's pinned up top on the X Spaces, the Twitter Spaces, and it's emailed to anyone that subscribes at thenifty.com. Nick?
Dude, AAA with this comment, told you, Nick, on Friday, talking about Nakamigo's Cloaks. I don't care. I don't care if you made 0.04. Congratulations. Get yourself a nice dinner, okay?
What did you lock in on this, Clemente?
Bought at 0.06, sold at 0.11. So a little 0.05 point right here. Hey,
Wow.
that's my fourth win in a row. Who you guys were fading? Hey, Bunny, how do you like
Did you
that,
get the
buddy?
Pudgy Penguin too?
I did not.
Okay,
It's manipulated, Clemente. That's the dude. There's a 19% distribution rate. Like the unique owners is under 20%. It's ridiculous.
Clemente did lock in a win, though. Congratulations on that. He's going to be able to afford lunch twice this week. That's a big deal.
Yes. 0.04 ETH is $62. That's not bad. He definitely can go to like almost a whole dinner in New York. That's definitely not bad right there, Clemente. Good job. Bunny's mad about the success of Nakamigos. But Bunny, you have your hand raised. Something more to add?
Not about Nakamigos. BoredApe's just announced, dude, this is big. It looks like they're collaborating with BAPE.
Yes, I did see that tweet.
Dude, we're so back.
I don't know about that.
They front ran Pudgy on the news. Look at that. What they missed out on was a picture with the BAPE team, because had they done that, the floor would have actually pumped. What are your thoughts on the floor not moving as a result of this?
Bunny?
Fine.
The floor is fine. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I just let Franelations on stage because Franelations requested, and anytime he requests, he is welcome on this show. We will go to Fran in a moment. I know what he's going to want to talk about because I'm looking at his profile picture. We're going to press you, Fran. We're going to press you on it. But anyway, some stories from the Nifty Daily Digest. OpenSea teased OpenSea GG on Twitch, which is believed to be a gaming-related streaming initiative, with further details to be shared this week. What I would say is, we'll see how long this lasts. Next story.
Jeez.
Nick, do you have something to add on that?
Yeah, we can discuss it after you're just straight hate. You're just like, OpenSea, a company that nobody's heard of, launches this Twitch streaming BS. What a load of garbage, That's like kind of how that came out. I don't know. I feel like that's actually, here's the bigger deal. And we've been discussing this. The gaming has a lot of upside in this vertical at this moment in time. In terms of NFT upside, I don't know. Like the reality is it's not rational to go from $400 to $40,000+ when you buy NFTs. Like that's just not a trade that seems like it's going to be anywhere near common in the future. Look, with the daily volume of 2 million on OpenSea, and then you got Blur, obviously, with 4 million. So, okay, let's round up to 6, 7, something like that. It's going to be hard for people to lock in major wins with this sort of volume. But, I mean, we can keep moving through some of these stories and dive into it after.
Yeah, so the next story, the Memeland team, someone's violently highlighting this while I read it. Please stop. The Memeland team will be hosting a Discord AMA today at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time to provide meme coin updates. No fluff, just facts. Captains hold a 3 ETH floor. Potatoes hold a 0.94 ETH floor. Very talented artist and friend of the show, Vinny Hager, announced that he'll be the next Starbucks Odyssey stamp artist with the stamp titled Constant Conversation. It is set to be released on October 1st, 6 days out. Congratulations to Vinny Hager. I'm sure that'll be very cool. Next story, MoonPay has acquired ETH Pass, with the acquisition enabling MoonPay to unlock digital experiences seamlessly with Apple and Google wallets. So MoonPay out here acquiring ETH Pass, which I guess, what kind of product is this exactly, Nick? Are you familiar with ETH Pass at all?
No, but it does seem like there's ETH Pass clients include Artifact and Lacoste. Ivan Soto Wright claimed integrating ETH Pass. Man, I don't know. I'm not familiar. There's some real world aspect of it, but I'm not familiar at all. I'm assuming that it sounds like some of the commentary that they're having is it's also associated with
Apple and Google wallets.
Yeah, but also their Seaport experience, which I did try out, by the way, and it was tough to like. The user experience was a little bit clunky. I was down in Seaport, unaffiliated with this event, and I saw it and decided to show. I think I was with my girlfriend and was like, hey, let's check this out. Let's scan it. Scanned one of the things, and then like I couldn't sign up properly. There were some issues with it. But regardless, they're making moves. MoonPay. Hey, ETH Pass and MoonPay together is MoonPass. So maybe that's what they rename it to. But yeah, I mean, it seems like they're making moves. And ultimately, I actually am pretty bullish on the general direction of MoonPay. Just in the sense that it eliminates friction for those people that don't want to go through the convoluted process of wallets, which I think is something like when you talk about Venmo, do you ever use the word wallet? You just call it my Venmo account. Like there's never like, and to me, that is the ideal experience for most people. The idea of you've never had your Venmo account hacked, like never ran into that. You have?
Yeah, someone sent Venmo for about $6,000 to a Las Vegas gold company and shipped it to a foreclosed house in New Haven, Connecticut. So I actually had to call the gold company to tell them not to ship the package. They already shipped the package. Luckily, Venmo is owned by PayPal, so they refunded me. But now I'm never allowed to use PayPal again.
Really? Okay. How did you get hacked?
Somebody, I want to say it was a phone number, like a SIM. It wasn't a full SIM swap hack, but it was a forward phone number. They updated the phone number on my Venmo account to theirs.
Okay. So it's, I don't even know how that goes down, but yeah, I mean, I guess you do need 2FA on that account.
Yeah, I didn't have full 2FA, so they got a hold of that. They got a hold of the PayPal, and it actually stems from a debit card issue because I had the debit card on file, which they verified with the last 4 digits, and the debit card was compromised too. So they charged, I think, like $37,000 to my debit card, and luckily the bank had stopped it after the first charge of $75 to Chick-fil-A that took place in Alabama.
So let's just be clear: fraud doesn't happen in the traditional financial ecosystem. Okay,
yeah,
right? Like so there's that didn't go down. All right.
Yeah, this was also like 2 years ago, roughly. But
this is propaganda against the fiat system, dude. And I just don't appreciate that you would come here on this show to denigrate the name of the fiat and the banks. So that's absolutely ridiculous. Fraud does not happen there. There's never been fraud on eBay, dude. That shit is legit. Okay. There's never e-commerce fraud, non-existent. I'm gonna get the other stories, Pio, here.
Well, I mean, I think I have to do this next one.
This next one I really need to say, Pio. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I think you should. I'd love to know your take on like how you present this one.
Well, the way I'm going to do is I'm going to read the sentence. So MicroStrategy has acquired an additional 5,445 Bitcoin for approximately 147 million, bringing their total to $4.7 billion. Bitcoin, baby. Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, the cult leader of Pio, is just demonstrated his continued conviction in Bitcoin. He doesn't stop buying this guy. Doesn't matter what the price is. It goes down, it goes up. This guy is a buyer, leading Pio to take 100% of his net worth and put it into Bitcoin. Something that any financial advisor would say is a smart idea. Did I do that justice?
Actually, I think you did. I think you basically covered everything, including the sarcasm at the end. Yeah.
Appreciate it. FEWOCiOUS mint snapshot is happening today at 1 p.m. with the first airdrop happening for paint holders tomorrow. Krapopolis made his TV debut on Fox last night and highlighted a fan-voted element on the show. The Krapopolis chickens are up slightly at 0.12 ETH, comparable to Nakamigo's bullshit cloaks. A woman accidentally sold 3 sealed vintage Pokemon cards. Saw this one worth $45,000 for only $90 at a garage sale before pleading her case to Facebook. Where did she post this? I think it was Facebook. She posted it on Facebook and said, "Please, for the love of God, give me these cards back. I didn't realize I had sold these for over $20,000 and they're $300." That's the name of the game with yard sales, though. I mean, if you
Gary V is electric right now on the back of this move. That man is hyped up about this trade. I'm just saying, no, it's probably behind closed doors, but he loves his yard sales, loves his garage sales. This is a flip.
Yeah, it's a flip. I say it's a flip.
Mean, they like ran to the store and dumped it. Like they floored it. That was what happened. They literally ran to a reseller and floored it immediately after they pulled that wallet drainer attack on the yard sale person. So, I mean that's a classic. But I feel like that it was agreed upon. Like there was no.
Oh, no, this is not a scam. It's just the lady didn't know what she had. And at yard sales, if you've ever had a yard sale, you know that people are expecting, like people will offer you like a quarter for something. Like the prices are so low. It's like, yeah, I'll take that for 45 cents. It's like preposterous. So I can't say I'm surprised that this happened. It is interesting.
Did you have a personal issue with this situation? Like it seems like there was an experience. There was like a very nice painting that your mom had, and you guys did a yard sale and someone came over and they were like, that painting that from 1876, I'm going to give you 76 cents for.
No,
and
it's just actually
scarred.
It's how it works. Go to a yard sale. You're not going to like clean up. It's not going to be like crazy guap after you do the yard sale. Feel bad for the lady though, but you know, this is a tough one. They were sealed Pokemon card boxes. Friendalations, how many vintage 90s sealed Pokemon boxes do you have?
Currently I don't have any, but I had held the original first set until literally just before COVID. It wasn't first edition, but it was the printing right after, and I sold it to Sean Wotherspoon of Round 2, who's also done some NFT stuff and stuff like this. So I sold it to him for like $4,000. This is after holding it for like 20 years. Literally, COVID happened, and like it shot to 16,000, then 30,000, then 100,000 within months. And so yeah, you know, definitely disappointed about that, but it is what it is. Locked in, you know. A trade from $60 to $4,000 just took 20 years. So yeah,
that's a gain in the flipping space. $60 to $4K. I don't know that any of my baseball cards are worth anything. They may still be in my mom's attic. I'm gonna have to go check those out. The other thing I was gonna say is, if you check out my profile on Twitter, the Allnick profile, and if you comment and retweet the live stream there, I'll give you 50 bones attached to your account. Remember, all you got to do is go over to the nifty.com/settings to connect your Twitter account. But if you retweet and comment, we'll give you 50 bones. We did it last week. 19 out of 25 of you, or some, I don't remember what the exact number of people was that did it, did end up getting a little bit of bones sent their way. Some people had not connected their Twitter account. That's on them. But all you got to do, go over to my Twitter profile, smash that retweet, and give it a reply. Just post a comment letting Pio know what you think of his outfit today.
Okay. Friendalations, what is the what are some of the higher value physical things that you have that you think that, you know, people would find interesting? We're seeing some action here in the NFT space with what I guess you can call it like phygital or digital physical connections. You are a long time physical collectible collector. What's some of the more interesting stuff? If you don't have sealed vintage Pokemon cards, which I would have thought you had plenty of, what do you have?
So I still have a couple sealed like video games and stuff like this. I guess the oldest being like the original Zelda, stuff like that. I mean, I do collect sealed product from Pokemon, but most of the stuff I have is like over the past 10 years, not like the super original stuff. At this point, I had a lot of it, but I had sold it, you know, years back. So yeah.
Okay. Do you have like any Nintendo 64 games that are sealed?
Yeah, so most of my sealed stuff is like from Smash Brothers, Zelda, and Pokemon specifically. I had a bunch more stuff, but actually right when I got into NFTs, I sold most of my gaming collection except for a couple IP that I wanted to hold on to. So yeah.
Cool stuff, Fran. What prompted you to request to speak today?
The legendary collaboration between BAPE and BoredApe. This can't be understated. Like literally, BAPE is like the pinnacle of streetwear. It's that and Supreme. They've been, you know, head to head for what, 2 decades now at this point. And yeah, I just think it's super cool. And I think it's probably going to tie into Ape Fest, considering BAPE got purchased by IT Group in 2011, which is like a Hong Kong based group. So I'm guessing that's the tie in there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Is BAPE still at the caliber of Supreme? I know that in the early 2000s, I remember Pharrell, Jay-Z, other people were sporting BAPE clothes, and it was kind of like, oh my God, what is this brand? This is crazy. But I don't like, is it still what it once was?
Yeah, I mean, so like everything, there's like peaks and stuff like this, and there was a point in time where it was everywhere. I mean, it still is everywhere, but maybe it doesn't have that same exact like I don't know appeal or whatever. It's still really big. I don't want to get this conflated. Like it's really big. It is as big as it gets. Between that and Supreme, those are the top two globally. So yeah.
Wow. I mean, is it really big in Japan in a way that maybe Americans don't understand?
I wouldn't even say it's like bigger in one specific place. It's a global brand, and I think it gets recognized everywhere. They have stores mainly through Asia, but there's a bunch of U.S. stores. There's 2 stores in New York now, a store in Miami. So they're in all the major spots, and yeah, I mean it's huge.
Pio's like, I don't understand this brand. Like, is it like it because I don't feel like it's relevant whatsoever? Is it like, is there a guy in Ohio that's interested in this, like in this streetwear brand? Because I remember this from like 1976 is the way that Pio's describing this thing.
I mean, I don't know. I just I know that it once was a huge deal. It's hard for me to see how it's still as big as Supreme, especially since, I mean, look, Nick, I walked by Only New York in Greenpoint yesterday, and there was a line around the corner. So there must have been some kind of drop. I forgot to mention that to you when we were on the phone. It was my friend that I was with was like, look at these sheep waiting in line for a t-shirt. I was like, it's kind of a funny comment. I don't know. I probably wouldn't wait in line for a t-shirt, but it's funny because Nick, you've brought up Only New York as a reference brand, and I had seen that store before, not noticing that it was Only New York, and I'd looked at the clothes and I've been like, these clothes are pretty cool. I ought to show Nick this store. So there is something to it. And then yesterday I noticed it was Only New York, and there was a line around the corner. And my friend did call the people waiting in line sheep. But yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it when it comes to that. So for Annulations, look, this is a cool collab between BoredApe Yacht Club and BAPE, but I'm going to put my NFT market hat on and ask the question everybody in the NFT market asks every single time this happens, which is, what does it do for the NFT?
I mean, so I think in growing any brand, right, it's the little victories, and this honestly isn't even a little victory. It's just another W for the brand. And I think over time, looking back on BoredApe's history, 5-10 years from now, it's definitely a piece of that puzzle for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, the one common thread among everybody that owns NFTs is an interest in digital assets. That is the single common thread that unites every single person that buys an NFT. The physical component is a thread, but not a common thread among all, and fashion and clothing. It's not a common thread among all NFT owners. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out. It is on brand for BoredApe Yacht Club, and they wanted the brand to kind of feel like a streetwear thing. So look, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be joined by FEWOCiOUS in just a moment. Quickly, I wanted to do a quick hitter here. Pudgy Penguins' Brave New World, definitely a story of the weekend. Easy, what do you make of what we've seen from Pudgy Penguins over the weekend?
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see, like, what exactly is this Brave New World rollout? It seems like a marketing campaign for whatever it is that they have dropping. I'm very curious to see when whatever it is drops, because like we've lived in the situation now where a lot of brands and projects hype a lot of stuff up and then it doesn't live up to expectations. I'm curious because like this feels like it's approaching that escape velocity hype and speculation right now, where if they drop something soon, it should work out well. If they keep not delaying, but keep hyping this, it'll be tougher to see exactly what it is. So I think timing right now is on their side. But if they continue this hype cycle for an even longer period of time, they could run into some risks as far as like overhyping whatever it is that's rolling out. They've had some really good animations, some good posts, some interesting stuff, and the lack of information on it is what I think has a lot of people on the hook. We've seen Lil Pudgy's run, full-size Pudgies. I like calling them full-size. That's back to 4.5, 4.6. So like you're seeing some good price action on the underlying assets. But the big thing for me is like when you have these hype cycles and excitement, it really is going to come down to like when is whatever a Brave New World going live? And I think that's the bigger thing here, because like you can run into a lot of issues if you overhype, because then nothing can live up to it in this market sentiment.
So,
I think Luke is aware of that, though. I think from what I can remember from the tweets that we've had in the past, it feels more towards the end of Q4 than it does imminently sort of end of September. So maybe we're looking at like end of October, beginning of November. I don't know. But I think Luca is experienced enough on the marketing communication side to like have the rollout of what is happening to be drip fed nicely. So on the Pudgy side, I'm not worried that they're going to hype this too long. I think they have learned the lessons from everybody else who has overhyped and done it for so long, and then everybody was disappointed on it. I think for them, it's more like the expectations of what they're going to drop, because they've talked about the toys, they've talked about the revenue. Everybody's saying this is the only project that's actually really delivering something at that sort of like 3, 4, 5, 6 ETH price level. So for me, it's more like, what is the product or the service or whatever it's going to be that they're actually going to drop, and can it meet people's expectations of, yeah, okay, this somehow will make price go up on the NFT, because they've been pretty stable at 4 ETH for, I want to say, at least the last 6 months.
Isn't it their IP platform? Like, isn't that what they said they were going to build? Let's go through the realm of possibilities of what they could possibly drop. One would be probably a solution to cancer. So that would be like one thing that they could release, which I think
would be too mad about that, because it wouldn't also solve the common cold. It's not enough.
And also, what's in it for the NFT holders that don't have cancer, right? That's a situation that a lot of holders deal with, because if you don't provide utility, well, what's in it for me sort of situation, right? So, okay, so let's go through some of the other ideas that this possibly could be. They could have, I think the IP platform is it pretty much. Like, they
did say in their Discord over the next 24 to 48 hours, they'll announce something. So like so it seems like they're going to lean into like not the overhype.
We'll see. I don't think it's going to last a month. I disagree, Signal. I don't think it's going to go that long. I think this is the reality is, of marketing campaigns in this space should not last longer than 2 weeks. That's like my general assessment at this point in time. And ideally, even 1 week is a good thing. You can do some like organic buildup in advance, but like the campaign itself, as the drop happens, no longer than 1 to 2 weeks. I think Luca's going to demonstrate that with this. I mean, they've hit a couple of images. It's going to be hype post, hype post, hype post, drop. My bet, it's announced by Wednesday.
Okay, so Nick putting in a bet by Wednesday might be the case. I think that actually might make sense and might line up. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by one of the top selling artists that we've encountered in the NFT space. I've been following FEWOCiOUS since early 2021. I remember one of my first videos that I made on my first YouTube channel that nobody watched in the NFT space was about the Victor and Victoria piece, the price action on that and what we saw there. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, incredibly talented artist, the creator of FewoWorld, FEWOCiOUS joins the show. FEWOCiOUS, how's it going?
Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
welcome to the show.
This is so cool. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. I was hoping that we were going to get a shot of the studio. Is it
I'm gonna
Soho?
be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Yesterday we had our short film premiere, and at night I was like, I should wake up early and go to the studio. And then the morning came, and I said, nah, I am gonna sleep.
Well, I picture for remote interviews, like I can only imagine how cool that studio is. If you had a nice, an HD camera set up and you got like the kind of paint setup behind you, you're wearing like, I don't know, whatever you wear when you paint, you're like sitting on a stool. People will be like, oh, wow, that's an artist right there,
Yeah, it's really good for calls when I'm just meeting a company or something, and they're like, and they kind of know what I do. And they're like, "Where are you? The ceiling looks scary. It's so messy. What is happening?" I'm like, "Oh, you didn't do enough research."
well, FEWOCiOUS, you've had an incredible 4-year run at this point. Massive success in the NFT world and the traditional art world. What was it like, when you were first dropping in NFTs, starting to gain popularity? You do a collab with Artifact, you kind of caught fire really quick. What was that like, just being so young and kind of going through that growth in such a short period of time?
Now that you're old.
Yeah, you're so old now.
I'm so old. What was that like? Well, I didn't know what was happening. I just knew, because at the time, I was in a really bad household, and regardless, I make digital art. So I was just like, I want to do something with it. And I found NFTs and I thought it was so weird. I thought the art was so weird in a cool way. And I just wanted to be part of that. And then I found out about people were doing these Nifty drops, and you could do these things called editions. I didn't even think about editions. I just thought you do one of ones on Super Rare. And then I started doing editions. And then when it came to Artifact, they weren't what they were now, where everyone's like, "Oh my God, Artifact." Like they did these Cybertruck shoes that were like weird, and people were posting about it online, but it wasn't that massive. They were just, to me, they were just like these weird guys that were making weird stuff. And I would spam their comments and be like, "Yo, I want to work with you because that's kind of really dorky to make these techie shoes. And the fact that you took the time to do all this, I want to be part of it." And then they messaged me back and we made something. And at first I was like, are they like a big company? I don't know. I was 17 at the time when we first started talking, and then we get on a call and it's just 4 dudes and they're like, "Yo, want to make cool shoes?" And so it just felt casual. We didn't know the sale would be really big. We didn't even expect for that. We're just like, we're going to make something cool. We'll see what happens. And then it just kept popping off. So when that happened, I was just, I don't know. That was mind blowing.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, you did a great job and the time was right. I remember this Nifty Gateway. Those shoes did incredibly well. I remember our co-founder Kix had something like 20 of them at one point. I think he regrets letting them go a little too early. FEWOCiOUS, we're pretty fascinated by the traditional art world, the way things work in the traditional art world. And you're one of the artists in the NFT space that has had some strong success with, the Christie's and the Sotheby's of the world. Can you talk to us about like the first time that the trad art world kind of noticed you and how that kind of went down? I know you have an agent now and everything. I'd love to know how that kind of came about.
So I was doing NFTs and people had this big 69 million Christie sale. And at that point, I had my manager and we were just on the phone chatting about it. And I was just like, that's crazy. Not even, the big sale was crazy, but just Christie's. I didn't even really know what Christie's was, but I was doing research. I thought it was cool. And my manager was like, "Have you emailed Christie's ever?" And I was like, "No, because why would I do that? I bet they don't check their emails. Who am I?" "What?" And he said, "Just email them, see what happens." So I emailed them. I didn't even email Noah Davis, who did the sale. I just emailed some random Christie's email that I found on their website. I said, "Hello, I'm Victor. I wrote a little bit about my life." And in that day, got an email back from Noah saying, "Oh my God, hey, I know who you are. We were going to contact you right after the sale. I'm so happy you emailed us. Let's do it." So that was the first noticing from the trad art world, kind of. And that was awesome.
And it's built from then. I mean, you've done these physical drops, right? Like one of the drops, if I recall correctly, yeah, here's a little example Clemente has pulled up for us. I'd love to know, we're going to get to FewoWorld in a minute, but I'd be fascinated to understand, what is the appetite for your physicals been like? Do you have like billionaire collectors that have these things in their houses now? Like who ended up getting these, and what's the sort of physical versus digital thing for you right now?
That's a good question. So for the first Christie sale, we did a physical exhibition at Christie's. It was in their main hall, really big. And people would come and they would see I would have every lot I did 5 lots, had a physical painting and a accompanying NFT, but they were different pictures. And they did not understand. They were like, why is it different? Why is there a TV? And so not a lot of interest there. But then after that, I did a Sotheby's sale in London, and it was really cool. It was curated by Thank You X. Corey Van Loo was part of it. There was traditional art in it. There was a Banksy in the whole sale. It was crazy. And the whole time, I made a 7-foot tall sculpture. It's in the middle of Sotheby's, and everyone that comes to Sotheby's walks in and just sees my big sculpture. And there's a little card next to it that says, made by FEWOCiOUS. There's a accompanying NFT with it, but no one reads that. So they'd see the sculpture and think it's super cool. And they'd go to Michael from Sotheby's and be like, yo, Michael. Or they were old people, so they didn't say, yo, Michael. They were like, hello, Michael. This is very cool. I want to inquire about this. And he'd be like, yeah, awesome. Did you know that this sculpture comes with an NFT? And as soon as they heard NFT, they'd be like, never mind. I'm going to walk away now. So that's kind of where that was at. And it made me feel weird because I was like, is this going to happen forever? I don't know. I think it's really cool. And it doesn't make sense to me how you can think my art is really cool. Then you hear this NFT word and then you get kind of icked out. But in the end, the winner of the auction, they wanted to stay anonymous, but they're not part of the NFT space. It's just like a traditional art guy that I don't know how he found who I am. He wouldn't answer my question. I was like, yo, how did you find this? And he said, Sotheby's. I don't know. I don't know about NFTs. The winner of that auction, we said he'd get the first FEWO, like the rarest, coolest FEWO, and the NFT, of course. And after the auction, we emailed him like, yo, bro, it's been like 5 months and you haven't asked for the NFT. Can I give it to you? Because I just have it in my wallet. And he said, oh, I didn't even know I got that. He just bought the sculpture. And I thought that was crazy. So I made him a booklet on how to store your seed phrase. Do you have cold storage? Do you even have Ethereum? Do you know what that is?
That must be a hell of a booklet with, because I'm assuming it wasn't just a Word doc. I'm assuming you put a little bit of creativity into it and some visual components. So that must be pretty cool. Maybe at some point that'll see the light of day and everyone can see that. I can't say that I'm terribly surprised that collector didn't kind of understand the digital component. He saw a really cool 7-foot sculpture at Sotheby's and he said, I want that. I don't know about this digital stuff. I want that sculpture. But that is fascinating. I wouldn't have expected that so many collectors were interested in one of your physical works. And then when they find out that there's any NFT association, the interest just dwindled. That's, that would be very upsetting for me if I was in your shoes, for sure. It sounds like maybe that was something that was tough to deal with.
Oh, dude. After that, I had this Christie sale where I put myself in a box and I painted inside of a box for a week physically. Like I just lived at Christie's for a week painting.
Like David Blaine type of thing.
Yeah. And it was during the Contemporary Art Day sale. So that's when they sell the Picassos, like any big art number you see that's crazy. It's during that week for any artist. And my room, my weird room that I lived in with my box that I painted in, was right next to this huge Basquiat, like a really big Basquiat that I think sold for a lot of money. And it was also next to this room where if you want to have a private sale where people go and talk about the art, like billionaires would go to this room and chat privately about that they want to buy this Picasso. So my room was in a really cool spot. And what would happen is these old, very rich people would leave their private sale room inquiring about some art for a lot of money, and then they'd walk into my room. And for a second, I think they didn't know I was real. I think they thought I was an animatronic. And so they would talk trash. They'd be like, what is this? This is weird. I don't like this. Where's Christie's going? But then I would keep painting, they'd realize I'm real. And they'd sit there and they'd talk trash, but then they'd be like, wait, this is kind of cool. It's never been done before, but still, I don't like it. Why you're doing too much? I just want a painting. And then one of the people at Christie's or someone on my team would be like, oh, well, if you want to learn more about the piece, there's also an NFT. And they'd be like, what? Even more reasons to not like this.
Yeah.
Or some people would walk in, they'd be like, this is sick. A young artist trying new stuff. I love it. Christy says, or my team says, oh, you like the piece? Oh my goodness. Awesome. Well, if you want to learn more about buying it, there's an NFT with it, and that's a cool extra. And they were like, oh, no. So it got to the point where we stopped mentioning the NFT and we're just the painting. But obviously to do the sale, you've mentioned the NFT and we're like, and there's an NFT. And they were like, oh, never mind. So that felt like a social experiment.
I mean, that's wild. I didn't know it was that extreme. Obviously, I knew there was a stigma, but I didn't know it was that extreme where people are interested in your physical works, but then just check out as soon as you talk about NFTs. At least, you know, it sounds like no matter what, you have a future doing physical sculptures and physical works, whether or not there's an NFT associated with it. Last question I want to see, because I think Nick might have a question before we move on to FewoWorld. Have any of these billionaire collectors like invited you to go on like yachts in Lake Como or anything like that? Have you had any like wild experiences? I'd imagine when you get into this world, you get access to stuff that you probably could have never dreamed of before.
I've had a couple experiences I can't talk about, but that was pretty cool.
Okay.
But most of the time, if I'm invited to something weird like that, I haven't gone because I've been working on FewoWorld, and I'm like, yo, bro, I've got to finish my project, so I just stay home. But yeah, those experiences are strange because I don't really leave my house a lot, and I just make art all day. And then if you're put in a spot like that, it's like, whoa, all of you are financy business people, or like you made a big company and you're some head honcho guy, and I paint cool pictures.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different reality. Nick, do you have a question for FewoWorld?
No, I mean, we can go on to the project as well. That's the one I'm interested in talking about. But yeah, on the FewoWorld side, does this NFT cure cancer? Like I was saying, is that the utility associated with this?
Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, Nick, I have to announce that FewoWorld does not cure cancer.
Okay.
Sorry.
Tough.
Well,
Tough.
that's going to be tough as a holder. Yeah.
I am sorry. It wasn't part of our roadmap. I'm so sorry.
So in all honesty, I mean, it seems like an immense amount of effort has gone into creating this project. I'm just curious, like, what's the vision for FewoWorld? Like, where did this? I mean, is it really just an act of creative expression and thinking up like what's the craziest thing we can do?
Yes, but also, yeah, I think that's the perfect explanation of what I want to do. It started with, I want to do a PFP thing because if you break down a PFP, it's literally just art, lots of cool art, and then people use it as their identity. And identity is a fun concept to explore. But when we started, I don't think I took it as seriously. When we started, I was just like, yeah, PFP thing, like, I've seen other projects and the art doesn't look particularly fantastic. And so I was kind of drawing it like it was my doodles. But then the more I started working on it and, you know, I was taking this idea more seriously, we would get on calls with Manifold and we would have fun. We would spend hours being like, yo, Manifold, what's the weirdest, like, what's some weird thing we can do? We'll figure out how it all works together, but what's something weird? And they said, well, there's these backpack things your NFTs can have. It's not out yet at the time, but it's going to come out soon. And if you do it, you could be one of the first projects to have done this. And we're still building it, so we're still exploring it. We don't really know everything about it yet. And we said, okay, let's explore together. So then that opened my brain to, well, I love fashion. If an NFT can have a backpack. I mean, I did the artifact thing. Like, I want to do more fashion. What if the Fewo could wear fashion? And then I said, well, I take fashion very seriously and I take my art very seriously. I need to rethink how I'm rethinking all of this. So we scrapped all the art and went to 3D, because then it was like everyone cares about walking around with their characters. People like making their own content with the characters and posing rigs and stuff. And I said, oh, well, we got to do that. And then it kind of progressively just got crazier and crazier and crazier until it was like we built the foundation for as much craziness so that for the next years we can do even crazier.
I mean, it sounds like quite the undertaking. It's also one of those, I'm like, is it creativity without boundaries where you're like, hey, you're just like, what if we add this other thing when you're running like an agency or something? That's where you're like, whoa, don't go down there. But with art, you're able to actually explore some of those things to see like, hey, what's going on at the outer limits. What are backpacks?
So your Fewo in November.
No, I'm Nick.
Your Fewo, so your PFP will have its own backpack, which will be your wallet, like your NFT wallet, and there'll be NFTs in that wallet, obviously, and you can click on an NFT in my website and equip it to your Fewo, and then your Fewo will update wearing that wearable NFT that I made. And that's still stuff we're gonna put out later, but that's a huge part of FewoWorld. And I think right now a lot of people are kind of not even paying attention to that, but I'm very excited about this whole aspect.
That's very interesting. So there's an entire website developed associated with this. And it is the idea there, because you're talking about it being fashion, that like I could like change my PFP based on the mood sort of thing. Exactly.
And I think equipping stuff can go beyond clothes. Like something we talked about is, what if you can equip different emotions? What if you can equip different backgrounds, stuff like that? So I really want to get crazy with it and explore more. First, we just had to make Fewos insane.
I mean, makes sense. You know, one thing I want to ask about FEWOCiOUS is, you know, like you're very young. Are you 21, 22 years old at this point, or even younger still?
I'm 20. Yeah.
Wow. I feel like you've been 20 for like 3 years, you know? But so fascinating, incredible success at such a young age, and success in this digital art world where a lot of things happened really fast. There was insane momentum in the market for like a 2-year period. During that period, a lot of artists put out a lot of work. I wouldn't say that you've put out anywhere near the amount of work that a lot of other artists have, but if I compare it to the traditional art world, I just Googled it, and it looks like Jackson Pollock in 44 years of his life, he put out 363 total paintings. And those are kind of like, that's known as like his artwork supply. Picasso, it looks like the total supply is 148,000 pieces, but 100,000 of those are prints and engravings. So call it about 13,500 paintings, 300 sculptures, and 34,000 drawings. I mean, that guy was prolific as hell. But when you start looking at this, the digital art world, and you look at 10,000 piece, 20,000 piece collections, you can start racking up supply, pretty quick. And as a young artist, I'd imagine that's something that you probably keep in your mind. How much thought do you put into that? And what do you think about the idea of your supply moving forward?
I mean, I'm very aware that 20,000 Fewos is a lot. And obviously everyone's like, what the fuck? That's so many. But I don't know. For me, I think they're really cool. When we made it, the market was very different. And also, I just have a lot of holders across everything I've done. Like paint is 7,000. My art is a lot. The collab I did with Artifact, like I just literally have a lot that would have filled a whole 10K project. So there's that. But when it comes to supply, I mean, if Picasso was alive today and had NFTs, would he have done hella open editions? I don't know. So that's a different question. If Jackson Pollock was was down with the tech, would he have been like, yo, fuck it, I'm gonna upload all my stuff and been gnarly with it? But I think about it kind of. I don't want to go willy-nilly. Like, I'm never gonna do a 20K project again. But then if you zoom out and I want to have a successful fashion brand and everyone says, well, Web3 is the future. And it's like, okay, well, if we have the world, I want more than 20,000 people to wear my clothes and have my stuff. So I don't know. I'm trying to think on a bigger scale.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah, no, totally get it. And, I wanted to ask about the kind of the market environment, obviously significantly different market than when you were first coming up in NFTs, this kind of like bear market that we've been in. Is that something that you feel, or because you're kind of on your own kind of track, it doesn't really impact you in the way that maybe it impacts other people?
I mean, I see it on, I see the numbers and the activity going down and obviously everyone talking about it. For me, I don't feel that, like, I'm kind of just making good art. And a lot of people are like, are you worried about FEWO's minting out or whatever, the market, your pricing? And I'm just like, I don't know. I made really good art. I did what I thought is right. I stand by my art. I feel very confident. That's the most you can do, is that.
Yeah, no, totally get it. And for the FewoWorld collection, is there a physical component? Like, are there actual sculptures that go with it?
That's something I would like to do. Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to do lots of fun physical stuff. But then if we looked into it before FEWOs came out, and then we started talking to a manufacturer, and we were like, what if every sculpture was unique to the FEWO? And the manufacturer was like, 20,000 unique sculptures. And we're like, yeah. And they were like, oh my God.
Yeah, they were like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So we're still figuring that out, but I really want to do that.
Well, I can imagine that the ideas sometimes when you present them to people that have like worked in the manufacturing business, they're like, what are you coming to me with this for? So that's pretty funny. Signal, do you have any question for FEWOCiOUS about the project or anything?
Yeah. Hey, Vero. So actually, I was thinking about, like, so you're going to have the PFP side, but then you're also going to have your one-of-ones. Like, as an artist, how do you sort of manage those two completely different creative outlets? One, which is like a wide, large community, which can at times be extremely demanding in their expectations, versus when you're creating one-of-one art and it's just going to go to one buyer at the end of the day. Like, how do you manage straddling both worlds?
That's something I learned a lot dealing with FewoWorld, and in general, just working with a lot of people. And we were designing some fashion for FEWOs and learning about samples and communicating my ideas and expectations and all this stuff. The biggest thing I learned is to just make the best thing I can. I just have to do the best thing I can. If I'm not 100% proud of it, then I need to keep working on it. And that's it. So I maintain that standard for both my one-of-ones and the, I guess, wider audience work. To me, they're both as personal. In FEWOs, all the traits are from my paintings. Like, some of the traits are called, I feel so sad, I feel so lost, I feel hopeless. Like, they're very emotional traits. And we've been marketing it as more fun because it'd be kind of emo to be like, FEWOs are actually kind of emo. But it's a very personal project to me. We had to sit and zoom through all my paintings and sculpt them and get all the detail. And I remember when I was sad, crying, painting that thing, and then now we're turning it into this character that maybe some people won't even know that we did all that. But yeah, just make good art. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do, and I do think that your style is very it's very you, and that that alone is really important as an artist, in my opinion. So FEWOCiOUS, I want to share something with you. So we make free NFTs on our platform. We have packs that have free NFTs in them, and I thought a cool idea for a series. We have 5 in-house artists. I thought a cool idea for a series was to present the kind of most significant artists that have existed in the NFT space to one of our artists who I view as a very strong artist, that we have in house, and for him to do his interpretation of the work by, well-known NFT artists. You were one of those artists, and he's already completed the work. This has not been released yet, but I just wanted to, get your, your reaction to it on screen here.
Oh my goodness.
Clemente, I'm trying to share this. I'm having trouble figuring out how to share this. Clemente,
no, I can't see it yet. The concept is very cool. Whoa.
I'm sending it to Clemente because I don't trust myself, and I feel like I'm going to share the wrong thing. So Clemente, maybe you could share it. That'd be really cool. And we could get FEWOCiOUS's reaction in just a second. I just sent it to you on Slack, Clemente. But in the meantime, FEWOCiOUS, what else should people know about the FewoWorld collection, maybe that we haven't touched on yet?
What else should you know? Oh, okay. Something I see a lot of people saying is pricing is 0.4 Ethereum. The pricing depends. We don't know if it'll be 0.4. So it can be 0.4 Ethereum max. So basically, I have a lot of holders. Like, for someone that doesn't even know anything about what I'm doing, I have a lot of holders, and I gave the holders these things called flowers. And they can use the flowers to get lots of free FEWOs. Some people are eligible to get like 300 free FEWOs extra. And so if you add all those people up that are claiming their extra free FEWOs, that's thousands of more FEWOs minted. And so if everyone exchanged everything and did all that, that would be 14,000 out of my 20,000 minted. And if that happens, then public price will be 0.4 Ethereum. But I don't know if everyone will exchange everything for all those flowers, just because some people aren't even here. Some people don't even know what's happening. They're just on vacation or not even paying attention. Yeah. So every 500 FEWOs we're away from that 14,000, like as we go down, there's a 5% discount. So if 12,000 FEWOs are minted, public mint is 0.3. If 10K are minted, that's 40% off. So public still will be 0.2, and it keeps going down the less people mint. So pricing depends. We'll find out that day what the price is for everyone. But yeah, we don't know. That's the one thing I wanted to say.
and to remind everyone, that day would be, when's the release?
Well, today's the snapshot. And then the next day, if you have Paint, because I did this thing called Paint, it's a little paint drop. If you have that, you get airdropped a free FEWO, 1 free FEWO, and a flower. And a flower is to get a wearable, but we'll talk about that another time. And then the next day, on the 27th, if you bought Paint and you got those flowers I was talking about, that's when they all get their free FEWOs, and we'll find out where they land under that 14,000 number. And then the next day is a art holder mint, which is a discount for art holders, and their price will go down as well if we go less than 14,000 FEWOs. And then on the 29th is the public mint, and the price would have already been announced of if there's a discount or if it is 0.4.
So it looks like all that info is available on this mint sheet that is on FEWOCiOUS's Twitter. So very, very easy to digest, broken down in a very straightforward way. The FewoWorld mint coming up, highly anticipated. It's been a while. I'm personally a huge fan of the art. I think that they would work incredibly well as sculptures, despite being a manufacturing nightmare. Maybe it'll just make them by hand. Clemente, do you want to show FEWOCiOUS? And FEWOCiOUS, please be totally honest on this. This artist that made this doesn't speak a lick of English, so he'll never witness this.
Whoa! Oh my God, this is crazy. The words and everything. The emo "Don't Panic, I'm Not a Monster." This is very my vibe. There's I think that's a zebra with chicken legs and a very beautiful tail and sunflower hair. The clouds are very good. I like the texture and the feathering of the paintbrush. And there's a little that looks like New York on the bottom right. Very good. I like it. I hope you can communicate to them that I thought it was very swag.
I will absolutely do that. I'll see how swag translates from English to Russian. It'll be interesting. But yeah, okay. It sounds like he accomplished the mission. Nick, it looks like did you want to add something?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway,
I'm going to I'll reach out to we have in-house Russian experts. That's what I was going to say, that can translate this effectively. I'm not sure that the word swag though is the key word there for us to translate. I would go with Fewo likes it.
I can handle that, dude. He can pop that into Google Translate. FEWOCiOUS, this was such a pleasure. It's long overdue. Down the line, would love to shoot some IRL stuff with you, because I think we could do your painting justice with our camera work. But this was such a pleasure. FewoWorld coming out. If anybody needs any information on the project, very easy to find. FEWOCiOUS's profile is on the Twitter stage right now. All the info is on that mint sheet. I'm sure that this is all you'll be talking about this week, next week, and for the weeks to come. Any closing thoughts, anything else you want people to know?
Oh, just thank y'all for having me. This is a really cool show. I like tuning in the morning if I'm awake early enough, and I'll just paint and I listen to you guys. I'm very thankful to be here. Thankful for everyone listening. It's cool to catch up on everything going on. Y'all be talking about stuff I don't even know about because I'm just making stuff all day. So it's cool to hear that. I think all of you are very funny. Yeah, just thanks. I hope you guys have a good day.
Are you in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Are you in New York? I don't know where anyone lives. You're in New York?
Yeah.
Me and Nick are in New York. Yes, we can pull up on the motorbikes.
Dang, I didn't know that. Oh, well, I'm going to come knock on y'all's house or something.
Sounds good.
I have a very large house here in New York City. It's quite impressive.
You have a very big, nice, amazing house.
Yeah, multi-story.
I'll let my pit bull know he's good. He's good. Don't worry about it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't already follow FEWOCiOUS on Twitter, make sure that you do. Check out the FewoWorld collection that's coming out. No doubt going to be a very special project in the NFT space. Incredibly cool work, very original work from FEWOCiOUS. I'm personally a big fan.